Paradise Lost unveiling the dark side of Nepal. When we think of Nepal, we often imagine the towering peaks of the Himalayas, the rich cultural heritage, and the warmth of its people. However, beneath this picturesque facade lies a darker side, one plagued by systemic issues that hinder its development. We're talking about poverty so pervasive it casts a shadow over entire communities, infrastructure so inadequate it makes even the simplest journeys a logistical nightmare, and political instability so persistent it feels like a never-ending game of musical chairs. So, buckle up, dear viewers, because today we're ditching the rose-tinted glasses and taking a hard look at the challenges that threaten to overshadow Nepal's undeniable allure. Crumbling foundations, Nepal's infrastructure crisis. Let's talk infrastructure, shall we? Because when it comes to the roads, bridges and basic utilities that keep a country running, Nepal is, to put it mildly, working with a very outdated blueprint. We're talking about roads that look like they've lost a fight with a landslide, bridges that tremble more than a nervous first date, and electricity that's about as reliable as a politician's promise during election season. Imagine being a farmer in a remote village, your livelihood depending on getting your crops to the market. Now imagine that the only road connecting you to that market looks like it was designed by a team of drunken toddlers with a penchant for playing in the mud. And if you think the roads are bad, let's talk about electricity. Imagine trying to run a business, educate your children, or even just keep your food from spoiling when the power grid is about as stable as a Jenga tower built by a hyperactive squirrel. It's a daily struggle that cripples economic growth and leaves communities stuck in a cycle of poverty. In a country where clean water is essential for everything from drinking to sanitation to irrigation, access to this basic necessity remains a pipe dream for far too many. It's a situation that demands attention, investment, and a whole lot of concrete, because without a solid foundation, Nepal's dreams of progress will remain just that, dreams. Trapped in poverty's grip, the struggle for survival. Let's be clear, poverty in Nepal isn't just about lacking material possessions. It's about lacking opportunity, lacking access, and lacking the basic necessities to build a decent life. It's about families struggling to put food on the table, children denied an education because they have to work to survive, and dreams left unrealized because the weight of poverty is simply too heavy to bear. Imagine a life where every day is a scramble for survival, where your family relies on subsistence farming, at the mercy of unpredictable weather patterns and a changing climate. Migration, often to countries with questionable labor practices, becomes the only viable path to escape poverty's clutches. But this escape comes at a cost, separating families, exposing individuals to exploitation, and fueling a cycle of vulnerability that's difficult to break. The reality is that the gains have been uneven, with certain regions and communities lagging behind. This isn't just a statistic, it's a human tragedy. A broken ladder, the education crisis holding Nepal back. Education, my friends, is often touted as the great equalizer, the key to unlocking a brighter future, the ladder out of poverty. But in Nepal, that ladder is looking a bit rickety, held together by duct tape and good intentions and missing a few crucial rungs along the way. We're talking about a system where access to quality education remains a privilege, not a right, where classrooms are overcrowded, under-resourced, and often lacking even the most basic amenities. Imagine being a child in rural Nepal, your thirst for knowledge stifled by a lack of access, where the closest school is a day's walk away across treacherous terrain, making attendance a luxury your family simply can't afford. Early marriage, domestic burdens, and a lack of access to sanitation facilities all contribute to lower enrollment rates and higher dropout rates for girls. Because when a nation fails to educate its children, it fails to invest in its future. Nepal, a land renowned for its pristine beauty, is facing an ugly truth. Its environment is in peril. The very landscapes that draw tourists from around the world are being ravaged by pollution, deforestation, and the relentless march of unsustainable practices. Nepal's capital, once a haven of fresh mountain air, now ranks among the most polluted cities on Earth. A toxic cocktail of vehicle emissions, industrial waste, and smoke from brick kilns hangs heavy in the air, turning a breathtaking panorama into a health hazard. Nepal's rivers, once revered as lifelines, are now choking on pollution. Untreated sewage, industrial runoff, and agricultural waste flow freely into these sacred waters, turning them into toxic streams. Nepal's forests, home to an astonishing array of biodiversity, are being decimated at an alarming rate. This environmental crisis is not just an abstract threat, it's a clear and present danger to Nepal's people, its economy, and its very future. The price of progress. Unmanaged urbanization in Nepal. Nepal's cities are bursting at the seams, struggling to accommodate the influx of people seeking a better life. But this rapid urbanization, fueled by dreams of opportunity and escape from rural poverty, has come at a cost, transforming once vibrant urban centers into chaotic, overcrowded, and unsustainable concrete jungles. Imagine a city where the streets are choked with traffic, where the air is thick with exhaust fumes, and where finding a patch of green space feels like discovering a hidden oasis. The infrastructure, already inadequate, is buckling under the strain of this rapid population growth. Water shortages are commonplace, electricity flickers on and off like a faulty light switch, and waste management systems are overwhelmed, leaving garbage piled high on the streets. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about livability, sustainability, and the preservation of Nepal's unique cultural identity. A nation adrift, the perils of political instability in Nepal. Nepal, a nation with a rich history and a vibrant culture, finds itself trapped in a cycle of political instability, a revolving door of governments, and a pervasive sense of disillusionment among its people. It's a story of broken promises, unfulfilled potential, and a political system that seems more concerned with self-preservation than with serving the needs of its citizens. Imagine a country where the political landscape shifts more frequently than the tectonic plates beneath its feet, where governments rise and fall with alarming regularity, each promising sweeping reforms and a brighter future, only to leave a trail of unfulfilled promises in their wake. This chronic instability has created a climate of uncertainty, hindering long-term planning, deterring foreign investment, and eroding public trust in the government. Like a persistent weed, corruption has taken root in the corridors of power, siphoning off resources, undermining good governance, and eroding public faith in institutions. This isn't just a political crisis, it's a societal crisis. A vicious cycle, the interconnected challenges facing Nepal. Here's the thing about Nepal's problems. They're not isolated incidents, they're all tangled up in a giant, messy knot of interconnected challenges. Think about it. Poor infrastructure stifles economic growth, which in turn limits access to education and healthcare, trapping families in a cycle of poverty. This poverty then fuels migration, putting further strain on already inadequate resources in urban areas, leading to overcrowding, pollution, and a decline in living standards. And all the while, political instability and corruption act as a constant drag on progress, preventing the implementation of effective policies and eroding public trust in the government's ability to address these challenges. It's a vicious cycle, a self-perpetuating system where each problem exacerbates the others, making it even harder to break free from the grip of underdevelopment. But here's the glimmer of hope. Recognizing these interconnections is the first step towards finding solutions. A call to action, forging a brighter path for Nepal. The dark side of Nepal is a stark contrast to its natural and cultural richness. However, hope lies in the resilience of its people, the growing awareness of these issues, and the efforts of those working tirelessly to bring about change. Addressing these challenges requires collective action, innovation, and a commitment to prioritize sustainable development over short-term gains. It means recognizing that the path to progress is not always linear and that setbacks are inevitable, but that the pursuit of a brighter future for Nepal is a goal worth striving for. Only by confronting these issues can the nation truly rise to its potential.